Hey YouTube, right here. Just went ahead and watched a video, and I kind of touched on this subject before, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna touch on it again. Now, in a relationship, sex is an important thing most of the time. Like, let's all be honest. Let's all be grown up about this. Sex is one of those things that, you know, you kind of expect in a relationship. Now, does that mean it has to be an everyday thing? No. In fact, that's probably one of the fastest ways to go stagnant and then have some problems. But if you are with someone and they have an insanely low success rate with you, how long do you think it's going to be until they give up on you and decide to look elsewhere, whether it be cheating on you or leaving you? Now, let's see now. I'll go ahead and I'll link a video. It's the one that kind of spurred me on to make this one. If I remember to, and if I can be bothered to. But the thing is it's not that uncommon of a thing. But in the video that I'm planning on linking, something uncommon did happen. A guy actually went ahead and put down on a spreadsheet. He actually kept track for an entire month. He tried every single day, and he wrote down what what the result was and what his wife said. Not on the yeses, but just on the no's, what was the excuse? Now, some people will sit there and go, oh, well, there's the problem. He's calling them excuses. Well, if you actually go ahead and look into the video, I have to link the thing now. But if you actually look into it, there's a lot of them that are just flat out motherfucking excuses. They're not reasons, they're excuses. But he actually went through and put it into a fucking spreadsheet. And the guy ended up having a 10% success rate. All right. Now, they had been married for 2 years. Usually that type of drop-off doesn't happen for a few years afterward. Usually you start hitting that kind of drop-off at around the 5-year mark. They had been together for 5 years, but they had only been married for 2. I would like to know, what was their frequency of sex before the marriage happened? And the thing about the video that pisses me the fuck off is there were a few women on there, and I believe it was MSNBC, so you can't really expect too much of fairness from a few of the anchors on there. But here's the thing. They were sitting there and trying to put all of the blame on the guy. Every last bit of it. Saying, oh, well, he needs to step up his game. Well, you know what the thing is that woman has no reason to put out for him, except on a trickle basis. She has absolutely no fucking reason to. It doesn't matter how good or bad your game is. The thing is once that marriage happens, your game no longer fucking matters. Now, I've never been married. Thank God, knock on wood. You know, it's not going to ever happen. But the thing is you know what? I've seen a lot of guys get married, and then all of a sudden, I hear that problem start up almost instantly. Like the honeymoon's over, and all of a sudden, just sex drops off the face of the planet for them. It stops existing. It's no longer a part of their little world. And ladies, this is a question specifically for the ladies. Why would men, given how common that is, ever want to get married? Why? For what reason? We don't get the status bump that we used to. We don't get the extra respect. All we get is a bunch of extra responsibility and a bunch of extra blame. That's all we fucking get. So, what's in it for us? I would love for a woman to try to sit there and tell me why. Although I highly doubt one will ever come up with a valid reason for it. The reason why? Because I can't see one, and I'm looking from a guy's perspective. Every time I've asked that question, whether it be verbatim or just a reasonable facsimile of it, I always get, well, married guys tend to work more hours. Okay, I'm asking for benefits, not downfalls. Well, married guys tend to be more responsible. I'm looking for benefits, not downfalls. Sitting there and saying you have to work harder and you're taking on more responsibility, those are the things that you're paying. What are you getting in return? All right? A lot of people, for some odd reason, think that guys live to work. No, a lot of guys become workaholics because they get married and their job is their vacation from their marriage. In Bill Clinton's case, it was a full-fledged vacation. But the fact is every single time I talk to people and I actually look for a benefit, all they do is name costs. Not things that guys want to do, but things that they're expected to do. Somewhere along the line, some wires got crossed. And, you know, I really feel bad for guys that end up getting roped into marriage. Because the thing is at that point, you're literally flipping a coin. I mean, looking at the statistics, you got 50% chance of you getting fucked, and not in the way that you're hoping. And more studies are coming out showing that couples that cohabitate together, don't get the whole marriage thing involved, end up happier. They end up having sex on a more regular basis. They end up feeling just as fulfilled, if not more fulfilled emotionally. They tend to have less domestic violence in those situations. It's just one thing after another. There's a lot of positives to it. And when they separate, it's kept civil. It doesn't end up going to legalities unless something really fucked up happened. But with marriage, you have no choice but to go the legal route. I mean, unless your spouse is completely okay and it's a mutual breakup and, you know, you're all good. But once it goes to legalities, the guy ends up getting fucked. Because for some odd reason, women in every other aspect are viewed as these strong, independent individuals. And yet then when it comes to divorce, all of a sudden it's laws from back in the 70s. And so the law views women as dependent, weak, and in need of protection. But I don't hear women, not too many, especially not a whole lot of feminists, only second wave feminists. But third and fourth wave, no. Third and fourth wave, they want to keep that shit the same. Oh yeah, they definitely want to keep that shit the same. Because, I mean, for these women, they look at marriage as nothing more than a fucking retirement plan. And they want the guy to have to go out and work his ass off to support them for the rest of their lives. Why would a guy sign up for that? In what universe is that a good deal for the guy? Not only are you not guaranteed sex on a regular basis, in fact, you are more than likely going to see a severe drop in your sex life. For me, that would mean sex once every 10 years. Maybe. Woo, yeah, sign me up. Not. But the closest I've heard is, well, he gets companionship. He gets companionship while dating. It's nothing new added. And there's the whole mentality of, oh, well, the woman should be able to go out and do whatever the fuck she wants, but the guy should have to, you know, stay true to the old school way of doing things, so. I mean, at what point does the double standard stop? I really want to know. Like, where is the double standard gonna stop? Like, when is some level, some semblance of actual equality going to take place here? I just want to know. I'm not saying when is the current double standard going to change, because something tells me that's never gonna fucking change. Not in my generation, anyway. Not while I'm alive on this earth. Maybe 4 or 5 generations from now, when guys are all like, yeah, no, fuck you. I'm not doing anything that could possibly result in anything even resembling marriage. As women go, I don't know why you don't want to. Oh, let's see now. I mean, hell, there was a woman that ended up getting an extra 10 grand. 10 grand. Because she said that the guy was sexually neglecting her. The judge awarded it. Even with her testifying that every time he asked for sex, every time he went for it, she said no. Even with her testifying to that, the judge awarded an extra 10 grand to her. Now, I want you to reverse the situation here. What if a guy during a divorce was able to sue his wife for sexual neglect? What if a judge actually awarded that? What do you think the general consensus of that would be? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the image going through your head right now is accurate. Unless your image is, oh, well, everyone would be okay with it. No, 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 no. Not everyone would be okay with it. In fact, the vast majority of people would not be. Because then they'd be all like, well, does that mean that as soon as a woman gets married, she becomes nothing but a sex slave? So let's apply that to this situation. Let's see now. A guy decided to go ahead and to try to better communicate with his wife on what he perceives as a major problem. I'm assuming this guy went ahead and brought it up multiple times, going, hey, look, we hardly have sex. We hardly fuck. And I'm asking you literally every day, and I'm on the losing end of that scale. And I think it's funny because one of the women in the video that's trying to defend the woman, she's sitting there and she actually sat there and said, well, maybe she's going to be going for a divorce and she's trying to make a case. Because the woman was the one who published the list. Keep that in mind. The woman is the one who published the list. The guy didn't make the list and then throw it out on the internet. The guy made the list, yes, he probably showed it directly to her. She was the one who published the fucking list. And then the woman automatically went to, well, maybe she's looking for a divorce and she's trying to set up a case. Well, last time I checked, you don't have to set up a case for divorce. You can just go in and get one. So what case is she trying to make? Oh yes, a case to try to fleece more money out of the guy. After she's neglected him. After she made him feel unwanted, unloved, uncared for. Like I said, cut the crap. I'm so sick and tired of seeing guys get just absolutely wrecked because we're playing a game that is so stacked against us that even if we win, we lose. Guys, until this shit gets sorted out, until it changes, if you're not married yet, don't get married. If you're engaged, call it off. If you're living with a significant other, don't continue doing it because they can go in and they can force you into marriage without even letting you know, without even giving you notice. So, be smart, be safe. And there's some people that are all like, oh, he just wants to destroy the family unit. No, actually, I don't. And I'm not destroying the family unit by saying this. I'm telling guys to protect themselves. It's the same thing as telling guys to wear a fucking condom. It's just, this is for social and economic protection. Complete the fucking package. Not to mention emotional, since guys tend to be more distraught over divorces than women, on average. So, yeah. And it's not guys who made marriage dangerous. It's women. Women who want all the fun, none of the responsibility. And I can't really fault them on that. You know, no one really wants responsibility. And everyone wants to have fun. But the thing is women are sitting there and saying that they're being oppressed, that they've got the raw end of the deal, that they have it worse, when it's very easily demonstrable that men have it worse. Legally, politically, socially, and hell, now even economically. So let's go ahead and try that again. Why would we want to go into marriage when it has become nothing more than us signing up for servitude? When it is nothing more than us becoming slightly more than slaves? I don't see a reason. And I'm looking at my cousin, who's more like a brother to me, and I'm seeing the problems he's going through. My cousin's one of those guys, he's a lot like me. Very straightforward, very on the straight and narrow. But I've watched him go through so many changes because of his marriage. Hell, there was a time there that honestly, I was expecting him to cheat on his wife. He had plenty of opportunities. And the only reason why he didn't is because he's a good man. Can't say his wife's a good woman. But, I mean, I don't have any real issues with her, like, as an individual, but as my cousin's wife, oh yes, there's quite a bit of issue. But yeah. Ladies, if you want guys to start voluntarily signing up for this shit again, you need to sweeten the pot. You need to actually make it worth our while. You need to agitate for that change, because the thing is guys can't get that change in there because there's too many harpies sitting there screaming, "Oh, that's sexist. Oh, that's sexist." We're still oppressed, as they're stomping on the guy's head with their boots. So if you want to change, then you have to make it. You have to be the one to take on those harpies, because guys, at this point, we've had all of our cards taken from us. You literally have the entire deck. So it's up to you. And don't just think for yourself here. Also think about future generations. What if you have a daughter? Because if you take no action, you're just signing her up for an entire lifetime of misery. I feel bad for my daughter, because the odds of her finding a guy, probably not all that great. Except for the fact that I'm raising her to actually respect men, to actually not buy in to this feminist bullshit, to never be told that she's a victim unless she is legitimately a victim of a crime. So if she is actually fucking raped, if she is actually fucking assaulted, if she is actually fucking robbed, if she is actually discriminated against because of her gender, which is very fucking rare because the penalty is so fucking high. Yet there's no real penalty for doing those exact same things against a guy. Not anywhere near as much as against a woman anyways. I think it's funny. Women love to bring up for a while there, a woman's vote was worth half of a man's. Well, a crime against a woman is worth that same crime being committed against two men. So I think we can just go ahead and call that one a wash, right?